welcome to today's video. My name is Rita. This is my channel 10 Red Lipsticks. We have to move out because the foundation of our house needs to be repaired. We just rent, but we're moving to a flat. We're going to rent there for a few months and then we're going to come back to our house. So we're going to have less room than we normally have. So I'm not bringing all of my makeup with me. I probably could fit it all because even though I have so much makeup items individually are physically small, but I think it's a good opportunity to try and live with less and see how it goes, to focus on particular items, you know, project pan wise, etc. That could be fun, to bring some of my older products or things I've never used before, things like that. And generally I just don't want the whole thing is stressful. I don't want to be stressed out by the apartment that we're moving to being messy and cluttered and not having enough room for everything. So we are able to store things in our home in the upstairs rooms while the repair work is going on. So we're going to do that, leave a bunch of things here that we don't need in this season or we can manage without for a few months. And I'm going to do that with my makeup. And today we're going to talk about the palettes that made the cut, the ones that I am packing. So I have chosen 30 eyeshadow palettes, and that is less than half of what I own, I think. So it was difficult to make these decisions, but yeah, I think it was a very interesting process. There is a big seasonal spin on this, so if it was a different time of year, I would choose different things, but it is basically the autumn is when we're going to be in this flat for. So I've picked a lot of things particular to that season and just favourites, and yeah, I'm going to show you all 30 palettes and just quickly tell you why I'm bringing them. So first off, I have this makeup bag. This is from Space NK. I just got it, this makeup bag. I really like it. And in this, I've got a full face of makeup. And the reason I have it packed like this is the days where we're between the two houses, hopefully we're going to have a couple of days like that. I just want to be able to have a full face of makeup and makeup remover, sunblock, the basics I need in my handbag and or backpack or whatever, bring it back and forth with me. So I definitely have the basics that I need if I want them. I probably won't wear makeup on those days, but just in case, you never know. Sorry, I think there's a plane going overhead. I don't know if you can hear it. I do live near a small airport. This is my Pan That palette. As you can see, I'm not getting very far. I only have one pan. I need to keep working on it. Zoeva Soft Sun Voyager palette. I love it. It's so good. And because it is small and because it's the one I need to get use out of, it is in my emergency access makeup bag for the chaos of the moving process. The rest of my makeup or my palettes are going to be stored in this IKEA Rascog cart. I've got the like green one. They change the colours that they do, but the shape of the cart stays the same. And I've got 3 organisers in the bottom. I don't know where this one came from. It came in a multi-pack, I think from like Deals or Poundland, or those are the same place. One of those, a pound shop kind of place. So I've got 4 small palettes in here. This is the Catrice Caviar Gauche Quad. I love it. Very basic, very easy. And I just thought it'd be good to have something I don't have to think about. Then I've got 2 Natasha Denona mini palettes. So we've got the mini gold. This is one of my favourites. And I particularly like this with a particular green dress I own, which I am packing. And it goes really well with another dress I own, which is very autumnal. So I'm definitely bringing that. And the Natasha Denona Mini Retro. This is my favourite Natasha Denona palette. These pinks are so nice and the greens are lovely. I just didn't want to be without this, even though it's not necessarily the most autumn palette that I've got. And then I think this is quite autumn. This is the Pat McGrath Ecstasy Sublime eyeshadow palette. This is one of the mini 5 pans. I don't like this shade, but the rest of them are lovely, and particularly this green actually is really nice. I can't do swatches of 30 palettes. I don't know what I'm doing. But yeah, I thought these kind of fun shimmers to round out a look would be nice, and I do really think they go with this season. So yeah, that organizer will probably have the Zoeva palette put into it as well. Next, I've got this green collapsible basket, which is from Pennies. They still have them, but they, on their website anyway, have different colours. So I was looking to see if I could get another one, because they fit very well in the IKEA cart. So I've got 7 palettes in here. The first one is a bit of a weird choice because I have never used this. This is the Too Faced To Femme palette. I got it in the Boots €12 Tuesday deal. And I just thought, I don't want to own a palette for months and months and not use it. So I thought I should bring it. Also, these are very small, physically small pans. And if the urge strikes me to try and hit pan on things, I thought having some things with small pans that might be easy to hit would be fun. And while this colour story might kind of go for spring a bit more, I think colour and playing with colour in general and the autumn works very well. Next, I've got the Catrice Next Gen Nudes Pro Slim eyeshadow palette in 10 Courage is Beauty. So this is like a rosy neutral palette. I love this colour story. I've only used it a few times. It's not that long in my collection. And again, the colours are a bit more springy, but A, they're physically small pans that I think would be easy to hit if the urge strikes me. And B, I haven't played with it that much and I'd like to play with it more. And it's very easy to use and basic and right up my alley colour story wise. Next is one of my favourite palettes. This is the Zoeva Premier palette. And this is very much autumn. Like, look at these deep colours. Really beautiful. I just dropped it on the floor. It's fine. So I think this will be loads of fun in the autumn season. We've got that kind of duochrome guy. Another green. Really fun. Why am I swatching things? What is wrong with me? It's a terrible idea. Yeah. Also, they're not even good swatches. But yeah, love this one. Then I've got the, of course, Too Faced Pumpkin Spice palette. Speaks for itself. I wanted it in this season. Next, the Essence Bambi palette. I love this palette and it is in my palettes that I want to be in my like top 20 most used palettes of the year list. And I haven't used it that much yet. Also, I think some of these like rosy tones will work very well this time of year, and those kind of like warmer neutral, rosier neutrals. And the blues are loads of fun as well. Next, another I've barely used and that I also got in the Boots €12 Tuesday deal, or £10 Tuesday if you're in the UK, is the KVD, what is it even called? Planet Fanatic palette. So here's what it looks like, and some richer colours, which I think are great for this season. Also, I've barely used it, so I didn't want to go months without having access to it to try it out and see how I like it. The times I have used it, I've really liked it, so I think that will be fun. Next is the Glaminatrix Nearly Natural palette. Again, I want to get a lot of use out of this palette and I haven't used it that many times. I have used it several times and I absolutely love it. Beautiful shimmers, some deeper tones, which would be great for this season, but I think this is any season because it's a palette with great variety. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting to know that palette even better. Ooh. So that's the medium basket, and now the big boy. This is so heavy. So this wire basket is from Søstrene Green, I don't know, but it's like Danish, and they don't have the same, they're like they cycle through their stuff very fast, but everything they have is always beautiful. So, you know, if you're looking for something more interesting, it's definitely worth a look. So I have another few mini palettes in here, which I may or may not change into the really small box. So two very small here. This is the Tartelette Jewel palette. This, I just got this year and I haven't used it that much. I've used it a few times. I really like it. It's so pretty and just compact and easy to use. So I thought that'd be fun. This is the Essence Coffee to Glow. This is a favourite palette of mine. So I definitely wanted to have it. And obviously the warm tones, great for the autumn. I just stuck my nail in one of the shades there. Oh yeah, barely. That's fine. This one's a bit more special. It's the Bobbi Brown Quad Pink Glow Luxe eyeshadow palette, and this is her like baked gilet formula, and these are just so special and fun. They're great toppers over any look really, and very special. This is one of the rare ones where I'm like, if something happened to it, I'd be very sad, so I kind of had to bring it, but also very happy to bring it. It's a favourite. Next, I've got the Catrice X Jenny. I know I've raved about this palette. I love it so much. Collab with a German influencer. You've got some basic warm neutrals, which are really good and lovely, and then you've got this really fun duochrome offshore. And I'm very happy to have that. Like, look at that. It's just so beautiful. Next, another one that I haven't used, and this one I actually have not used at all. I haven't even swatched it. This is the Viseart Minxette Étendu palette. It was half off on Beauty Bay, is why I got it, and then I just didn't have time to use it. And then also, 'tis the season now for warm neutrals, so I'm looking forward to using this and seeing if it's as good as my other two Viseart palettes. I'm sure it is. I love their formula. It's so good. Another bronzy neutral palette for this season. This is the Juvia's Place, the Bronzed Rustic. I really hemmed and hawed about my different, I have 3 of these mini palettes. Bronzed Rustic, Blushed Rose, and the Vanessa collab palette. They're all excellent, but because of the season I picked this one. I wanted to take all 3, but I tried to limit myself to 30, which I think is, you know, still being very generous to myself. So I had no excuse to push it. This is so difficult because these palettes are big. Next, I've got my 3 Natasha Denona midi palettes, the Retro, the Bronze, and the Glam. They're all amazing. I love them. I would be devastated if anything happened to them. Ooh. And I think the Bronze, obviously, but also the Retro, because it has a lot of those more berry, like, this isn't a pink palette. I love the packaging, but the packaging is a lie. This is a berry palette with like a tiny hint of pink. Like, there isn't a pink matte in here. Go-Go's the closest you've got to a pink matte, and it's not pink. Like, it's lovely, but it's not pink. Glitz and Psychedelic and kind of Vivian. Like, Vivian and Maud, which is like this white that has met pink and then pinky white. That's not enough to build in an all pink, like a light pink look. But I still really like that palette. It's just not exactly what I thought it would be. So that's one thing, is I actually don't really have a pink palette in here, but I do have pink shades, because pink is one of my favorite. It's my favorite color to wear, you know, other than neutrals. But yeah, those three had to come. Love them. Only Glam, I think, is in my like I want, or maybe Glam and Retro, I don't know, or in my like I want them to be in my top 20 of the year usage goals list. I think bronze isn't, but I love them all, and I couldn't be without them for that long. Next, this is not a favourite palette, but I do like it. This is the GlamShop Poland Chocolate Cherry. Obviously it's in Polish there. I don't know how to say those words. Palette, and it's just so appropriate for the autumn. Like some of those shimmers are just stunning. Also, this matte, this Croquant matte is so beautiful. A lot of different formulas. This one's like much more kind of dry, and then these ones are more kind of like different formulae there. And that's interesting and fun, and this is the season I'm going to play with it. I'm not going to play with it other seasons. There's more GlamShop Poland to come, we'll talk about it later, but looking forward to playing with this in the autumn when I want that moody deep berry look. The NABLA Read My Mind palette I have used 4 or 5 times, really like it, but I haven't deeply gotten to know it yet, and I really want to. I think the packaging is just the most beautiful thing. I love the layout telling you kind of what to do with, you know, quads and rows and columns, or less so columns. Very fun, and you've got good variety in the texture of the shimmers here, so lots of fun. Also, I think with these berries and these warm tones, very autumnal, and then like a moody cool tone look, I think can really work for the weather cooling down. So looking forward to really sinking my teeth into this. Saying that about everything, and I'm not gonna have time because this is too many palettes. My partner is like, so you can use every palette twice. It's like, shut up. It's like, that's not true, because I often combine palettes. Next is the BH Cosmetics Smitten in Switzerland. I've already sunk my teeth into this. I already know I love it. It's that colour, but kind of not moody colour, but like, you know, not like bright summery colours, more saturated autumny colours. Love them. Love the formula on these palettes. So good, on the shimmers in particular, and I just love the packaging. So thrilled to have this one in the mix. Just wiping the swatches off my hands because I'm making my palettes dirty, which I do not want. Ooh. Another NABLA palette. This is the NABLA Side by Side. All the basic neutrals. Your basic B Heart Could Desire. Love them. Love the texture of the different shimmers, and it's so pretty and beautiful. Has to come. Another 16 pan. This is the LA Girl V.I.P Desert Dream eyeshadow palette. All of these palettes came out in like pairs, and it's very confusing because V.I.P is like what the pair is called, and then Desert Dream is what this palette is called. And then you have other ones where it's like Pro is what the line of palettes, like the pair, is called, and then like Mastery is one. That's here. And then like the one that came out with this is Artistry. This so nearly made the list. It was a whole thing. And then I have I can't remember what it's called, but like a very bronze one. But I decided that this VIP Desert Dream was the best of both worlds, because we've got pinks and some very warm bronzes. So I thought it's given me what I want from the other two combined. And also, like, it's the end of August that we're moving, so sometimes the summer weather really does stretch into September, so I might still want some of these yellows, and not like yellow is also an autumn color, but yeah, I'm really happy to have this. Also, the huge mirror is just very useful. And then we've got the Sigma Cor-de-Rosa. This one I didn't think of until kind of the last minute, when I realised this I think of as very much a summer and autumn palette, and I haven't really used it this summer. So I wanted to pull it out, and I thought, you know, I like this palette a lot, but it's quite pigmented, so I find it hard to, not hard, but like I'm not going to use that like every day, just living my normal life, or I need to put some more effort into doing my makeup. I can't just not think about it, I have to think about it. So yeah, it's one that I don't always think of reaching for just on an everyday basis, but really pretty, and I like the variety in the shimmers, and I love the packaging so much. It is so beautiful. Yeah. Woo. Lots of fun. And now down to the final three. So these are bigger palettes, so they're like the other way around. Like these palettes are horizontal and these have to be vertical, I guess, or vice versa, depending on what way you're looking at it. So first is a BYOP. So this is a big palette from ABH. I have a big mix in here. So these 12 are Sydney Grace. These 3 are Sephora collection. They come in like their own packaging, but you can actually take them out of the packaging and they're magnetic. Now the first 2 are very creamy, so maybe they'll dry out, which would be disappointing, but I thought I'll see. And then the third one is Sephora collection as well, but it is not as creamy, so I'm not worried about it. This one here is from Sigma or Sigil, inspired by Tammy Tanuka. That's the only single I have from them, because their website's a bit difficult because it's all in Russian and hard to understand. Then these 10, so these 9, and then this pink here are GlamShop Poland singles. I told you they would come up again. And then these 2 are Glaminatrix singles. So it's a huge mix. As you can see, I love pinks and neutrals. So just some special shades, like, oh no, that's just it's still pretty. But like this one is really special from GlamShop Poland. Some very special shades, and then some more basic shades. Actually no, I'll swatch some more special ones. So there we've got one from GlamShop Poland here, one from Sydney Grace here, and one from Glaminatrix. So I thought those singles would complement the palettes that I'm bringing and add a bit of fun. Lastly, I have 2 really big palettes. So first up is the Colourpop It's All Good. This is sun damage, like why it's a different colour up here. Don't leave these palettes in your windowsill. But this is one of their 30 pans. I love these colours. People never talk about this palette in a good way. I think it's so nice and so pretty. It's the colours I go for. Loads of pinks and purples, a yellow. I love them so much. The only thing is these 2 shades are from the Flutterby palette, because originally those were pressed glitters. And normally I kind of just have holes there, excuse me. I just have holes there. Take a bit of coffee in my sophisticated mug. I just have empty pans there, but I thought, you know, I'm bringing limited palettes, I may as well throw in 2 shades I love from the Flutterby palette. So that's given me some variety, some colour, and it's actually the only Colourpop palette I'm bringing, which is odd because I like Colourpop a lot. And then finally, this is another new palette to me. This is the Beauty Bay Neutral 42 pan palette, so it's huge. It's, as you would suspect, a bunch of neutrals, but also some pinks and purples, so right up my alley. It is a lot of mattes, not as many shimmers, but still lots of shimmers. So far, I really like it. I did notice somebody saying that the shimmers don't last in the crease if you've oily skin. I do find that, which is slightly disappointing, but It's very good value, so it's given me a lot of variety. I haven't used every shade in this yet, so that's definitely something I aim to do in the next few months, and I thought this would be a good opportunity. And you know, when I was limiting myself to 30 palettes, bringing palettes with more shades is definitely appealing. So those are the 30 palettes that I am packing, that I'm bringing with me essentially for the autumn. Too much variety in there, but I like variety. I like to hop around between all the different things that I love. So what do you think? Could you do it? Could you leave some of your palettes behind if you had to move, or would you force it and bring them all? Would you only bring 5 and let the rest sit here for a few months? Any advice on moving and packing? All appreciated. But yeah, thanks for watching. I find things like this interesting, just thinking about what would I do if I was, you know, going traveling long term and had to limit myself to 10 palettes or something, and then like the physical size would really matter. Here it doesn't matter as much. Like we're moving to a flat. It'll be a bit smaller, but there'll still be some space. I'll manage. But yeah, I think that's interesting, and I love watching pack with me's. They're like my favorite thing. If I had more space and the house is cleaner and I wasn't in the midst of real packing where it's very messy, I would have loved to have done this in a like shop my stash through my Alex drawers that I have in my room, and then pack with me into the cart that I'm bringing. But it was a very difficult process, and it took me ages to whittle it down to these 30, and B, the house is such a mess, it would look ridiculous. So yeah, thanks for watching, and yeah, we'll see you in the next one. Bye.